Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Once again, others, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah,
Good
good
morning, sir.
morning. Yeah, we'll start
Good morning.
with our lesson. So before starting the lesson in a last class, what we had discussed. So we have in the last class we have discussed the design principles and the capabilities of an IoT project. What are the principles we should follow, and what are the capabilities we need to design a IoT project that we had discussed. Now we'll go with an outline of an IoT project architecture. I'll share the PPT. Yes. So in our last class, we had discussed the main design principles and the needed capabilities, which we had discussed. Now coming to the next thing, that is an IoT architecture outline that we are going to discuss. Now in this particular figure, you can observe the block diagram is very much important. Repeatedly, I'm telling you while you are writing an answers, especially in an exam. So now what actually it is? Now, in a previous session, we have discussed just the reference architecture and an applied architecture. What is a reference architecture? It's a raw one where it's not be there on a particular problem. So it's like an abstract where the components of an IoT project will be there in that particular reference architecture. So from that, we will create an applied architecture. What is the applied architecture? The components which is well needed for our problem, and through that particular design we'll define sorry will define our problem, and that components will be meant only to solve that particular objective. We'll shift to that applied architecture. Now again we'll from there we'll go with the development and a solution. Now coming to the next thing is we have seen a pyramid, how a problem definition will be there, how IoT solution you can come in a different steps. Now, in depth, when you go with an IoT architecture, the IoT architecture will be like this always. Now, what are the components you should see? The main thing in this particular thing is starting from a bottom. You can see this asset layer is there, resource layer is there, communication layer is there, service support layer is there, and the data information layer is there, application layer, and a business layer. These things is needed for all the layers, from starting from a resource layer to the business layer. That's why we will take this as an cross layers. So the cross layer approach will be implemented in a IoT project. What actually these things is IoT data and services will be needed for all this particular layers in one or the other way, and a management, and we have to manage the information data what is flowing from one layer to the another layer. So that management is needed not only for a single layer, that is needed for all the layers starting from a resource layer to the business layer. And coming to the security, security is also needed for all the layers. So why? Because in which layer we lose the information, that will be a damage for our project. So because of that particular thing, so these three, that is IoT data and services management and the security, are cross layers which will be implemented in this part in all this particular layers. Now, in depth, we are going to discuss how these particular layers are there with one by one. Coming to the in-depth of this IoT architecture outline, when it comes to IoT, there is today not a single widely accepted view of what typically the IoT solutions looks like. However, as mentioned, there are a number of research activities on the European level that are converging on defining a reference architecture, and these activities are to be found as a projects in the Internet of Things European Research Cluster. Actually, to say, if I want to define a particular architecture or a one typical solution will not be there for an IoT. How I can say like this? See, actually, will meant with heterogeneous components what will be there and how these heterogeneous components will be taken into the consideration and how these heterogeneous components will be linked together. So in this particular thing, the output objective what we are getting, the viewing of an object will be in a different ways. So it means like this, to define a typical single solution for my project. If you tell in my project there is one particular IoT project, there is one particular single goal or solution is there. So we can wide it out in other way or we can view it in other way. So that is a thing which is there in IoT project. Now, what are European research they are doing? They are converging with a reference architecture for that. Why? Because the reference architecture, I tell, we can't go for an applied architecture always. Why a reference architecture is there for, especially for an IoT projects means the components what you are using that can be used in like different ways and for different problems different solutions whatever is there the same components which you can use and project it in a different way. So that is the one important thing. So this, if you want, you can see the projects. You can Google it. The European Research Cluster on IoT projects. If you Google it, definitely you are going to get recent projects, and I will show you that as an activity. Don't worry about that. And which are the projects, the European projects, which are based on this particular standards. Coming to the next thing, attempting to produce a single architecture consequently results in a number of optional and conditional requirements, all depending on a particular problem and or application in a focus. So what actually, if we attempt to produce a single architecture, applied architecture, I mean like that, means what I applied architecture for my particular problem, the particular solution, only that I will focus and my component maybe it will be used for a different thing but in this my particular project I'll go with only this particular feature. The identified key features that are needed when building an M2M or an IoT solution can now be put together into a large context by compromising a single view of the main functional capabilities. So you can see how these things will also be there. Means what is this? The identified key features, whatever a M2M machine is presently there, and IoT solution, whatever will be there, you can bring that together. Together you can bring and you can extend the view of that M2M into a other view. For example, you take our the stress case study itself when we'll feel only the M2M project of an stress level case study is very simple. That is, one band will be there, and that band will find out according to the pulse. The band will find out the stress level of the particular person, and that will be taken through the Bluetooth to the mobile where an app is there and that particular app will show that particular person some notifications that now your trust level is so and so. Just it's related to only a single person there. So how you can take that means you can enhance it to a larger context. So when we take that data to the cloud, so this is now very important. Then when we take the data to the cloud and if we analyze from last 4 months what is happening to that particular person individually, also we can analyze how we can analyze that. For example, the trust level of that particular person from last 4 months is repeatedly increasing when he is in a workplace. So when this is the case, so I need some expert knowledge. Means from already expert knowledge is there. From that expert knowledge, I need a suggestion from them. So if this particular person trust level in a working place is like this from last 4 months, what is the effect of this on his health and why it is like this? I will get inputs from both the hospitals and as well as the knowledge experts. I will make a conclusion that to this particular person, if the trust level is like this, according to 4 months, in another 6 to 7 months, his BP level will increase like anything, and he may damage with different health problems. So this is a very good analysis actually to say, and the report can be given to the management of that working place where your workers are doing means maybe only is will take other person's details also to product. We'll analyze how you can reduce the work, especially in a software companies. So this is one of the challenge in a software companies they are facing, and they are having a number of the psychologists will be there, like that. The physician means they will analyze the psychology of the that particular persons according to means workers according to that they will give the work means they will utilize the work from that particular person in a different way. So now in beginning what I told and now what I told is entirely different. Are you getting it? Now in beginning what is there, the individual person will see his stress level. Oh, my stress level is increasing, he will apply something, laughing therapy, something like that he will apply, he will calm down. Or you will do some yoga, or you will sit silently for some time, something like that. Now this, what I'm telling, this is the entire different. Like this, how many persons are there in that company? Like this, how many persons are there in one particular area? Where in which particular place these persons are having interest more? For this, what to do? Relaxation in a weekends. I will share that information, whatever of the different persons, whatever information is there, I will share with different resorts and different hotels which are there in a weekend or different places nearby of a Bangalore city. Now they will that business will also improve. They will advertise to that particular person, we can come for our resort. There is like so and so relaxation. SAP means what we will tell like that massage center, something like that. So that and all will be there, and you will get a relaxations like this and all. So definitely the business in a view, how to view this. See that resort persons that whatever that I something means you can say like what I don't know that massage center, something like that. So that they sorry, they will get a business. From where they are getting a business, they doesn't know that which persons initially. From our project, they will come to know that these particular persons are having a trust level more, and doctors suggested them that in a weekends at least you go to the relaxation places. And the doctor suggested that these things you can do. So definitely you will in your results you will tell that we are having so and so games like small trekking and somewhat like forestry area, hilly view is there and fresh air is there, something like that. You will advertise. Definitely there will be a good business here. Now, in like this, you have to do an IoT projects. That I will the meaning of large contest by proposing a single view of mind functionalities, the capabilities. This is the way how we will have to take. The assets of interest are the real world objects and entities that are subject to being monitored and controlled, as well as having a digital representations and identities. Now, for what thing we should do an IoT project? This is very much important. Mainly, we will do a project based on an asset. For example, air pollution monitoring. Air pollution monitoring, for us, the asset is the air itself. Am I right? Now, air is not at all, air is a digital component. It's an environmental component. Like that, the environment, like which you are going to take. For example, I will take, I want to save a precious trees, so sandalwood trees or some rosewood trees, silverwood trees, like that. I want to save in a forest. I will adapt some boards to that. If somebody cut that particular thing, intimation will be given, tracking of that you can do. And this is a one small project which you can do. For this, which is a set. The asset is this means the trees. Now, tree is different. Now, take any of the projects like this, an IoT projects, drip irrigation, a crop or a plants which is there in agricultural farm will be an asset. For example, building automations. Building automation, building itself as an asset. Like this, asset is in a real world objects that you have to think always whenever you're doing an IoT project, it should be meant with the real world objects and entities that are subject to being monitored and controlled. This is very much important. Which type of the physical object or a real world object you are taking into the consideration for your project, that particular object or an entity should be subjected to monitored and controlled. You have to monitor and control that. So that possibility should be there. Then only you can use that particular real. Not all the real world objects can be taken into the IoT projects. No, it will be not like that. Are you getting my point? So, which one will be monitored and controlled? We want to control this and we want to monitor air pollution. We want to monitor and we want to control. You can do it. And as I told, the trees. You can monitor somebody cuts like that. Only in that moment it will be taken. Or fire extinguishers. Only in that particular you are monitoring. Some fire is there. Then you are going to intimate like that. The entity, whatever is there in a real world, it should be monitored and controlled, as well as having a digital representations and identities. So you can take that into the digital format signal also, and you can identify with the unique thing of that particular thing, temperature or some the gas smells, whatever is there. So that is a digital representation where you can convert that. So this is very much important. So that you have to do. And if that thing is there, then definitely you can do it. For example, I will tell you like this. Where we are facing a constraint or a problem, I will tell you this. Take a drip irrigation or a farmer's assistance only. For a farmer, the main, before going for a crop or whatever may be the thing, from one crop to another crop, you want to test a soil. This is the one particular thing. So why you want to test a soil? You want to test a soil that what are the components, nutrients which are not there in that soil or which has been reduced. You want to add that nutrition to that particular soil, like a urea. Sorry. So if you take that into the consideration, just 1 minute. If you take that into the consideration, now how the things means the soil testing, how we can do in IoT project. This is a constraint which we have faced in our Raita Bandhu forums, what we have created. We can take a picture of a particular plant and image processing we can do, and or something like we can identify the pests, whatever is there in that. So we can treat that, not a problem. But soil testing, how we are going to do? This is a problem. It's taking a soil, if farmer will put into one particular thing, how the testing will be done. So this is a one problem which I faced. I called one of my friend is working in a JKVK. I called him as a professor and I asked him how you are going to test a soil, and now he told no, it's an entirely chemical process which we are going to do. We will find a nitrogen, potassium contents in that especially. So like different components we are going to do. Then how weather means in a fields, if we give one particular small equipment, farmer can do that. He told that no, it's a very large investment where soil testing cannot be taken as a small device. So there we stopped in that particular thing. Then what we did, he has suggested that every taluk is having one particular like that in agricultural office soil testing department will be there. So there they can test the soil, or in the main any agricultural universities they can test the soil. Why? Because it's once in 6 months or once in a year they have to do only. that particular thing will be there. And then what we decided like that, okay, if the farmer is having a report with him, let him click a photo of that and he will send an image. From the image, using a Python programming, we'll extract the text and will suggest what the things to do. But again, what is the constraint here? The farmer has to move from his place to the taluk headquarters or district headquarters or somewhere like this where that particular soil testing machine is there. Still, it's open for research. Not, I stopped at that particular point. Maybe you can enhance, means you can dig it out and you can enhance in how foreign countries they are doing, how a soil testing they are doing, and what are different equipments are there. Really, and you can take the information from that equipments to your IoT project. Really, it will become one of the best project, which is well demanded in India itself. So that you can do it further out. I'm also digging out, but I stopped at that particular point. Now, so this is about an assets, how typically we should handle this particular assets. The typical example includes a vehicle and a machinery, fixed structures such as buildings and utility systems, homes, people themselves, thus being inanimate as well as animate objects. So really, so these are all the objects as assets we are having with us. Now, assets are instrumented with an embedded technologies that bridge the digital realm with the physical world, and that provide the capabilities to monitor and control the assets as well as providing identities to the assets. So what actually you want to do, how you have to equip. So I will equip my asset with an embedded technology, a microcontroller I will take and I will connect to that. Means I will use some sensors. I will put in my asset. Then from that sensors, I will sense the data, and that will be stored in my embedded technologies. Really, we are doing all the projects like that. So then you can, if you convert that to an electrical signals or an whatever signals is there, means the way if you are converting that, then you can take into the consideration. So that is the one important thing about an assets. Coming to next, resource layer. Now the resource layer provides the main functional capabilities of sensing, acquisitions, and embedded identities. Now you leave the asset, to the asset what you are connecting, that things will come into the picture. So to the asset, what to for so and so of my problem to solve, I am connecting these particular things. That are the resource layer. That is the resource layer. That is sensors and actuators. Means I want to run a motor automatically with a mobile. So their actuator is needed, like a relay model what we have seen in a lab practicals. So that actuators is needed. Actuator means relay is an actuator which will switch on and off. So sensor, what is a sensor? Sensor is the one which will sense the surrounding things or an environmental things around that particular asset. So that we will be there. Different sensors, as you know already, in various devices that may be smartphones or the wireless sensor actuator networks which you can create. Either you can connect to a smartphone, as we have written a node MCU we have used, and we have used the relay switch actuator, and through phone we have made on and off. So after making a on and a half or wireless sensor actuator networks, means you can create your own networks. The M2M devices like smart meters or other sensor actuator nodes deliver these functions. So you may create your own meters like that. This all falls on a resource layers. So this resource layers, once again, you go back and you can see this is a resource layer, right? So above the asset, always it will be there. Coming to the next, this is also where the gateways of different types are placed that can provide aggregation or other capabilities that are closely related to these basic resources. What actually these things is, for example, any sensor will sense an electrical signals from that. So I want a value. For example, the moisture level sensor, based on electrodes, it will work and it will generate an electrical signals and it will send. As a human being, I can't read that signals and all. I shouldn't understand that. I need a value. So you need one converter for that. A gateway you need where a reader must be there to read that particular thing as your node, like Raspberry Pi or Node MCU or Arduino boards, whatever is there. So in that, it will read that particular, that microcontroller will read that particular things and it will let you know this is a thing, means this is a information what which is there. Means like in a values, it will give to us. Based on that values, you can do the coding easily, which we can understandable. So this is needed. This is another one very much important where the aggregation which you have to do will do in that one particular node. The next layer which is there is the purpose of the communication layer is to provide the means for a connectivity between the resource on one hand and the different computing infrastructures that host and execute service support logic and application logic on the other hand. So this is my mobile is there with me and my bulb is there in my house. Sorry, I'm working here in this particular thing. Just a minute. Yeah, so that you are going to do. How you are going to do? A bulb is there in my house. My bulb is there with me. So I will switch it on and off based on some particular inputs or notifications. Or in my fan, I want to on and off. Or my AC, Lloyd AC, they are giving advertisement at far places. Also, you can do this. You can ask that AC fellow that in my house we doesn't have an internet. Can I operate my AC from outer place? If you ask like that, definitely they will tell no. Why? Because how you will connect to a remote place without an internet? So this is a communication layer. So how you are going to connect? Yeah, I will connect my node, whatever this in the resource layer, whatever I told that, I'm going to connect my node to the internet, and from there I'm going to connect to other end, to my mobile. Why? Because my mobile is always having an internet. So definitely I will connect to my particular node with the IP address. So in this way, after connecting, I can operate that particular bulb. No. So this is a one important which should be there in a communication layer. Without this, you can't work it out. You can take any of the device. So if you doesn't have a communication, definitely the interaction will cut off. So that much importance is there in IoT, in the Internet of Things. Internet is the main thing. Underline that. So without the connectivity, you can't do. Now, lot of issues will arise in this communication layer. See, in the last week when we did a project of Node MCU, actually it's worked, but it's taking a more time. When I will press here the on, the relay bulb will on, and when I will press off, suddenly it doesn't off. Why? Because it will be depends on your mobile network busy and mobile network burst time and how the connectivity speed is there. Based on that, you have to connect it to the server of yours, and then you have to connect it to the that particular device. So in this, how a real-time projects will work. Here also some constraints will be there when we are designing a project. Almost all these are the major constraints which we should think on this. For example, I will tell you another one best example. I have seen my children, my students, they will do a project and they will start giving a demo. When the project is within a Bluetooth, so they will give very fast. Why? Because connecting a device with a Bluetooth and a mobile is very easy. When I tell them, no, you can't do this. Our objective is like this. We have to connect to the internet and the cloud. So then they will go for a ThinkSpeak. For example, I'll tell you ThinkSpeak, and they will try to operate on a mobile. where a drip irrigation, for example, one of your senior student, his name is Jaffer Sharif. So he has did a particular project. When he has did, everyone are there in front. He has connected all the things, everything, and he has opened the things big, and he has shown this is my user area, and these are the previous values what I have recorded and all. He is trying to give a live demo. He operated through his mobile. Due to some network issues, it doesn't work. Now, what about a real system? Assume that you are given that product to a farmer. What about this? So how these constraints, which is not in your hand or in your project, is not with any components. It's a connection issues or a communication issues. Even though you now also will tell, how many are there here? Many of you will tell that some network problems. I came gone out and I came again in. You will tell different reasons like this. For this online teaching itself, we are facing so many technical problems or communication issues. Then what about the system which doesn't have any human interactions and it needs an internet? So what is the solutions for this? So why I'm leaving all this, why I'm teaching all these particular things is you can see we're still research or a growth is there. Why IoT projects are not coming in fledged full in this particular, especially like developing country like in India and all. Why Western countries are very good and they come with smart cities very fast comparative to India due to network. I can say like this. Still, we are at a 4G. They are already at a 5G of an internet. The speed of an internet means providing a quality of our internet. So like this, it will comes like that. Based on that, they'll start working in a public places. How our internet will be there, like railway stations, bus stands. A public internet will be there, so they can connect easily and all. So any government means offices like that, they will have an open access to an internet with a security or with identifications. It means security also an issues there. So in our India, like a developing country, either what are position of an IoT projects, how we will be there in the coming years when we will step into the 5G, how the Western countries will be there. So think on this particular things. This is the one area where you can means do a research and you can do something on this particular thing. So that is a communication layer. Now coming to the IoT applications benefit some simplifications by relying on a support services that perform a common and routine tasks. So common and routine, these support services are provided by the service support layer. Now the next layer is in a service support layer. What is this service support layer? Observe here, the IoT application benefits from simplification by relying on support services that perform common and routine tasks. You need some support services. What is this support services? You can go with a mobile smartphone or you can come with an internet for mobile hotspot like this. These support services are provided by service support layer. So that service support layer will do this. For example, I can say I need a power. This is very much important. For my IoT project, I need a power. How I will get a power? So I will keep on assume that we'll go with an apprecious trees project. One of the question asked in conference by the participant there when I'm representing that. So they asked me very clearly that I told, sir, now the prototype you used a Bluetooth, well, it's working very good. That is, you are connecting the device with a Bluetooth of your mobile and SMS is coming and you are showing that it's tracking. But assume that Bluetooth will not work more than a 50 meters. When you adapt this in a real-time example in a forest, how it will work? Then I told GSM, I will use a GSM, and with the GSM internet connections will be there. And one of the participants he raised another question that, sir, assume in a forest and all, no telecommunication means that mobile communication connectivity will be there. For example, Bandimpura is of 100 to 150 kilometers spread forest is there. So there, no humans interactions will be there, no signals will be there. Assume in that particular area, more trees are there. Then what? How your product will work? Again, I thought, okay, I'll go for a GPS. I'll connect to the satellite directly. So, okay, I'll connect to the satellite, not an issues. What I thought like that, so always anybody from anywhere you can connect to the satellite. But they told like that, to connect to a satellite, if more rain are there, assume it's a rainy forest, more rains are there, like in Assam, somewhere like that. Anytime rains will be there, definitely your satellite connection will not work there. So, what to do for that? I stopped there. I don't have any answers to tell. No, I'll rectify it, sir. That's it. So that means that what I thought my objective means it's not satisfied there. So now how I can give a solution for this? So what I did again, I did some literature survey based on this particular issue, and I have seen what are the things we can use and all. Yes, you can use a LoRa. What is this LoRa? Long range antennas, which you can use. You are using in your internet also, means any Wi-Fi internet you are getting. So Ticona like that, they are using this. Okay, LoRa is there. We can use this. I thought that. What is this LoRa? Based on a frequency level capacity, this antenna will support the connectivity between around 10 to 15 kilometers. What I thought that yeah, it's a good thing that we can have an LoRa. So it's there from starting from 4 kilometers to 15, 20 kilometers you can have based on the frequency you can connect. So what I thought that okay, it's good. So even though no things are there, in a forest we can put a LoRa antennas and we can connect the entire area there. So then the question arises. I have seen the other thing also. LoRa is good. Means you can do it out. It will work. And one whatever forest station will be there to that station, you can connect easily with this one LoRa and another LoRa like that. You adapting. In that particular 10 kilometers, how many trees are there? So you can connect to that, and later on you can connect to a main station. But the another thing, what's the problem is radiation. So how you will control the radiation? So how will you control the frequency? Means the radiation around that particular antennas. Why? Because many small birds, small creatures will be there in a forest. What will be to them? Even in forest, you are not letting to leave them. Anyway, in our concrete societies, these creatures are not at all there now, like sparrows, hummingbirds, small cage birds like this. And I think even you can't see the crows also. Observe now, especially those who are living in the cities, you can understand these particular things. Even seeing a crow itself is become nowadays headache. Why these creatures you can't see means due to many radiations of this mobile internet. There's a thing which is there already. Now in forest also you are not letting them to leave means you can't get an approval. So then how to solve this issue? So again, this is open for a research. Like this, many. So this is the supportive layers. Our project will work in one constraint. But when we go to a real time, the supportive layer problems will become more always. So how to get a good service from a support layers? So this is another one open challenge will be there always, or a constraint will be there always. Coming to the next, these support services can provide uniform handling of the underlying devices and networks, thus hiding a complexities in communications and resource layers. So if you take, means if you solve this particular problem or a constraint, so support services can provide uniform handling of underlying devices, whatever devices, networks, whatever means connected, it will work very good Examples include remote device management that can do remote software upgrades or remote diagnosis or recovery and dynamically configure application processing such as setting event filters. So in a mass, we have sent some rover there and we are handling from here. Means many diagnostics or upgrades or software, even we can handle some devices and all. So that's the best example where device management you can do from a remote place. So these things you can do from, but for some things you need still better services. Now coming to the next thing is location-based service. This is very much important. I told the best example is our trees example. Location-based service. Capabilities and various geographic information system services are also important for many IoT projects. So in which location I am implementing my IoT project, and in this particular location, what is the geographic situation? This is very much important. So if my project can sustain to this geographical things, then it will be good. Heavy rains is there. What about my product if it gets wet? So some short circuits will occur. So how I can get out from that particular thing? So this is a location-based service. So in this location-based, for that particular location, for that geographical things, if you want to know, you must know about first the geographical information of that particular system. And what then how these services can be implemented in my particular project. That is a one very important thing which you should know. So you can ask me, sir, IoT, doing an IoT project, you should see even the geographical, yes, 100% the geographical conditions you have to see. For example, I will tell one real time example. Okay, main the logistics. As I told you that the moving of a trucks, where it is moving and in which locality it's moving and all, you want to track and you want to get it, all the things should be done. Assume that the bus or something, the truck is moving in some 80 kilometers or 100 kilometers per hour. So in that particular speed, how you will connect it to that particular device. So this is a challenge. This is how you get a geographical information of that when it is moving, especially based on the locations. If you take assume that the device is moving, the truck is moving in a forest areas or somewhere like that. If it's moving in a tunnels like that, how you are going to track this particular thing. So that is another one important thing where you must know the geographical things also. In general, sorry. In general, data storage for anything from raw data to knowledge representations. What in general, a data storage for anything from a raw data, where you are storing a data, I will store a data. So raw data you are storing and you are going to represent a knowledge representations and processing capabilities such as data and event capture filtering and stream processing are different core common services for many IoT applications. So this is another one very much challenge which we are going to face. For that, we need a data and information layer. The data and information layer in this provides a more abstract set of functions as its main processes are to capture a knowledge and provide a advanced control logic support. So the bulk of data is there in that I need which I want. So data analytics plays a very much important role there in a data and information layer where you are going to extract from that data some information, and that information should be in a knowledge based information. This is very important. What information, it can be any information. That information should give a knowledge about my objective. I want the addition of two numbers. If you are giving a subtraction of two numbers, that is also an information. But subtraction of two numbers, I doesn't need. I need addition of two numbers. If you are not giving me the addition of two numbers, that's a knowledge base which I want. But you are giving a subtraction of two numbers, which is not relevant to me, that information. Even though it's working, means even though it's an information, it's not related to me. That to capture a knowledge from that particular information and in what time, in what which particular event it should be done. So here no human interaction will be there. Automatically these things should be done. As I have given an example yesterday about a washing machine, as I have given an example about your refrigerator, the refrigerator itself it has to come to know that what component is not working in its entire thing, and it should tell the customer that this is a component which is not working due to this component, so and so problem is there. If you leave, this will be the problem. Like water purifier, I have told you that so and so membrane or RO filter is not working inside. So some problem is there. Motor pump is not working. Some problem is there. A notification which you will give. So this is one of the best thing which you should do. How these things will be done by a machine? So this is another one very important thing. How I should code to my machine that my machine should know when some components will go off in it. For example, car. This is the way, means where the data and information layer will come into the architecture. The knowledge management framework. This is another one very much important. So information is there. The knowledge management framework has a collective term to include data, information, domain-specific knowledge. This is very much important. That domain-specific knowledge will be extracted from that information. Actionable services description as, for example, represented by a single actuators are more complex composite sensing and actuation services. That is very much important. The motor should on automatically. When should the motor should on automatically? The moisture level, when it is not at all there, the motor pump should on. When the motor pump should off, the sensor, whenever the moisture level is sufficient, the motor should get off. Now we assume this is a one important thing which is there. Based on the knowledge, the domain specific knowledge should be there. When is the moisture level meets your threshold? When it's in a minimum threshold. So how this actuator should work means how this pump should work in that particular sense. If some delay will occur, what will be the problem? Wastage of water, or if more water, if you pump, some problem will be there for a plant. So how these things should be solved. So this is a knowledge management framework where you have to do. If this is a small thing, what I told, just one sensor and one pump will be there. Assume to this, I will add up based on the temperature and humidity, even sprinkler pumps should on. So to here, sprinkler pump is different and this drip irrigation pump is different. So how these two things it should act in a different way. So the knowledge here based on temperature and humidity, sprinkler should on. Based on moisture level sensor values, this drip motor should on. So this is the knowledge management how you have to do in your IoT projects. In depth, we will discuss. One chapter itself is there on this particular thing. Now coming to the next thing is an application layer. The application layer in turn, sorry, it's going on. Okay. The application layer in turn provides the specific IoT knowledge applications. There is an open-ended array of different applications. So IoT projects in what application layer? So which applications? Smart grid, vehicle tracking, building automation, participatory sensing. So in different fields you can apply. So the final layer is the business layer. What is this business layer? How you are supporting your business, which focuses on supporting the core business or operations of entire your organization or entire your enterprise. How much, if I adopt the IoT applications in my particular project, how the business I am going to improve and what's the profit I can achieve from this particular business. So this plays in a very much, ultimately we should get a money. This is a very much important. I told this particular concept, if one company is adapted this particular concept, then what is the benefit in a market it's going to get from that particular product. So it means how it will improve the operations of that particular business even. The enterprise system can, for example, be the customer relationship management, CRM, ERP, Like that, many business support systems can use BSS, can use your IoT projects. Coming in depth with a business layer, we'll discuss in the next class. We'll discuss and I'll tell you the standards considerations also in the next class. So I'll stop sharing here. Just a minute. Stop it. Yeah. How was the lesson? How was the lesson? Answer. No one are there? No one are there? Oi. ಯಾರು ಇರಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ನೀವು? How was the lesson?
Nice, sir.
Nice.
Good, sir.
Huh?
Good, sir. Good.
ಏನಪ್ಪ ಈಗ ಎದ್ದಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಈಗ ಎದ್ದಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ದ ಸೂರ್ಯ.
ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ದೊಡ್ಡ
ನಾನೇ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಸರ್. ನಾನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. 8:30 ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ನಾಳೆನಾ?
ಸರಿ. Okay, I'll take attendance now. Meanwhile, I'm going to share the link of an assignment. You do it and you send it. Just 3 questions are there, small questions which you can send. Send link, short link. Yes. See. Yeah, I have sent a link. You answer that particular questions. So I will give still afternoon time. That's it. Then I will close the responses. I'll put attendance now. Today is 9, I think. Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Your marks is 29. Ajay?
Yes, sir.
Your marks is 30. Amit? After attendance, if any doubt is there in marks, you can ask me. Amit is not there. Tell him 30. Antima?
Present, sir.
28. ಓದ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಿಮ. ಅಪೂರ್ವ?
Present, sir.
ಅಪೂರ್ವ, yours is 31. Ashwini?
Yes, sir.
28. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ? Bindu?
Yes, sir.
Yours is 34. Good, Bindu. ನಿಂದು ಒಬ್ಬಳದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ದಿವ್ಯೇಶ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ದಿವ್ಯೇಶ್ಗೆ? 27. ಗೌರೀಶ್?
Yes, sir.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಎಲಾಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಗೌರೀಶ್. ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ಯಾ ಕಣ? 23 ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಗೌರೀಶ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾಪ?
ಹಾ ಸರ್.
ನೀನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ಯಪ್ಪ. ಗೌತಮಿ?
Present, sir.
ಏನಮ್ಮ ನೀನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಮಲ್ಲೇಶ್ವರಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀಯ ಸರ್ಗೆ. ಗೌತಮಿ, ಆರ್ ಯು ಲಿಸ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ?
Yes, sir.
ಮಲ್ಲೇಶ್ವರಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಕಣಮ್ಮ?
ಸರ್ ನಾನು 10 days ಇಂದ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಇವಾಗ ಇದೆಯಾ ಮಲ್ಲೇಶ್ವರಂ ಅಲ್ಲೇ?
10 days ಆಯ್ತು.
ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಮ್ಮ. ಸರಿ, ಯುವರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ 30. ಗುಣಶೇಖರ್?
Present, sir.
30. ಹರಿಣಿ?
Yes, sir.
28.
Yes, sir.
ಸೂರ್ಯ?
Yes, sir.
31. ನೈನಾ?
Present, sir.
32. ನಜ್ಮಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ. 31. ನಿಧಿ?
Present, sir.
31. ಪ್ರದೀಪ್?
Yes, sir.
28. ಪ್ರೀತಿ?
Present, sir.
32. ರಾಜೇಶ್? Tell him 30. Sahadev?
Present, sir.
34. Saket is not there. Saket, tell him 31. Santosh?
Present, sir.
32. Seema.
Yes, sir.
33. Sinchana.
Yes, sir.
32. Spurti.
Present, sir.
Spurti, yours is 31.
Present, sir.
Shashank. 30.
Present, sir.
Varsha.
ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ
31. Yashashwini.
Present, sir.
31. Amrita.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
30. Anusha.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
29. I have not expected this marks from you, Anusha. Apurva K.
ಸರ್
30. Sai Siddharth.
Yes, sir.
29. Chetana.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
31. Kavya. I repeat, Kavya. 32. Tell her. Madhushri. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಮಧುಶ್ರೀಗೆ? ಮಧುಶ್ರೀ ಯಾಕಮ್ಮ ಅಬ್ಸೆಂಟ್? ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಮ್ಮ ಮಧುಶ್ರೀ?
ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ
26 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ನಿನಗೆ. ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ನೀನು ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕಣೋ, ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಮ್ಮ. ಮನೀಶ್.
Present, sir.
26. ನೀವು ಮನೀಶ್, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್? You have to improve in second at least. Sarfaraj.
Present, sir.
30. Murugesha.
Present, sir.
31. Mani. Tell him 30. Paresh.
Yes, sir.
31. Pooja.
Present, sir.
30. Prashant Reddy.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
31. Pratibha.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
30. Pratik. ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ರತೀಕ್ ಅವನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಇದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ. ಪ್ರತೀಕ್. ಸೊ ಟೆಲ್ ಹಿಮ್ 28. ಸಾಧನಾ.
Present, sir.
30. ಶಶಾಂಕ್ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಇನ್ನೂ ನನ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇವನು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಿದ್ದೆನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಸೂರ್ಯ, ಅಲ್ವೇನಾ?
ಅಷ್ಟೇ sir.
ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಬೇರೆ ಏನ್ ಕೆಲಸ?
30. Tell him. Shraddha.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
30. Sridhar.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
25. ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಕೇಳಿ ನೀವು, ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ, ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ತನೋಜ್.
Present, sir.
32. ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
28. ಹನಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
28. ಆಶೀಶ್.
Present, sir.
30. ವಿದ್ಯಾರಾಣಿ.
Present, sir.
28. ವಿಶಾಲ್.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್
29.
ಸರ್
Hello.
ಮಣಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಸರ್. ಅವನು ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ.
ಮಣಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ. ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Anybody having problem with your marks? So I am uploading this to BIMS. Once it is uploaded, it will be recorded. Any problem is there, you can ask me. So I will consider it. You're okay with your marks. Those who have got a less marks, please improve in second and a third. Okay, at least I have told how to write answers and all now very clearly to you. How to write elaborative answers. Figures are very much important that I have told you. So before test, once again I will tell you, not an issues, but you have to send the assignment also, that 4 questions. Thank you very much for attending the class.